In this clip, we're going to learn how to order fractions, decimals, and percentages, and we're going to be using the techniques we talked about in converting fractions, decimals, and percentages. So question 1, we're trying to write these numbers from smallest to biggest. Now, you can see we've got a mixture of percentages, decimals, and some fractions as well. In order to compare these, we need to make sure they're all in the same form. And I tend to find that converting them into percentages allows me to compare them the easiest. So 66% is already good to go. We're going to need to turn 2/3 into a percentage. Now, unfortunately, this 3 here is not going to go into 100. So we're going to have to work out the actual value of 2 divided by 3 using the bus stop method. So 3's into 2 goes 0 times. And since we've run out of room here, we're going to have to put a decimal place and a few zeros to give us some space to work with. Carrying over that 2, you can then say 3's into 20 goes 6 times with a remainder of 2. 3's into 20 again goes 6 times with the remainder of 2. So we're going to end up with a recurring decimal here. So that's 0.6 recurring. Now we're going to turn this decimal into a percentage just by timesing by 100. And that's going to give us 66.6 recurring percent. Now 0.281, we just need to times that by 100 to turn that into a percentage. That's going to give us 28.1. And 7/25, since 25 goes into 100, I'm going to write this fraction as something over 100 instead. And so what do I need to multiply 25 by to turn it into 100? And that's just 4. So multiplying 7 by 4 as well gives me 28. So that's just 28% there. We can then easily just compare our 4 percentages here and say that 28% is the least, so 7/25 is the smallest number. So we're going to write that down first. And it is important to write down the original form of the numbers when you're listing them out. So 7/25 is the smallest, followed by 28.1%, which was 0.281. And then 66.6 recurring percent is bigger than just 66%. So 66% is next, and 2/3 is the biggest. Now in question 2, we're writing these in ascending order, so that just means from smallest to biggest again. Now since these are all fractions, it wouldn't make much sense to turn them all into percentages. That would take quite some time. So instead what I'm going to do here is keep them all as fractions and change them all so they have the same denominator. So what's the lowest common denominator of all these numbers on the bottom? And that's going to be 24. So I'm going to turn them all into something over 24. So to turn 6 into 24, I need to times that by 4. So timesing the 5 by 4 as well gives me 20. I need to times this one by 12. So 1 times 12 is just 12. 8 needs to multiply by 3, so 7 times 3 as well is 21. And finally, I need to times 4 by 6 to turn it into 24. So 3 times 6 gives me 18. Now that they all have the same denominator, we can easily compare them and say that 12/24, so 1/2 is the smallest. Then 18/24, so 3/4. Then 20/24, so 5/6. And finally, 7/8. Here's some for you to try. Pause the video and give them a go.